Yo, it's Girl J. When you always hear on platforms, when you hear people say, I fell in love with hip hop when I heard, yeah? So this is just a spin on that. So from young, I've always felt like I was destined to be a hip hop head anyway. So I'll explain. So from very young, when I was born in the UK, as most of you sort of probably know, they've seen some of my videos, I mentioned that. So my father was a soul singer, so I've always been surrounded by music. So I always saw like live bands singing from very little. Um, and then obviously my mother was obsessed with Jamaican reggae, and there's the toasting element of reggae, which is like rapping, but in Jamaican, if anyone knows anything about toasting history. Um, so I grew up with that sort of influence, and then we went to America, and my stepfather, he was well into his funk. He's from New Orleans, so he's into his funk. That element sort of came into early hip hop anyway. So we had like the electric boogaloo, that sort of influence, Africa Bambaataa, the break dancing, that sort of synthesized style that sort of evolved from funk. You know what I mean? So I was well into that, and then I just sort of it evolved. And so in California, I remember having my little boombox or ghetto blaster, as they say in the UK. And I was sitting there listening to the radio every day in the summer, chilling out my apartment block. And then Rapper's Delight came on the radio, and I know it was the very first commercial successful hip hop track that was ever released. So as soon as I heard that, I was hooked, and I thought, "What is this? This is like a little spin on what the music already. The element was there that I already had my ear attuned to that type of music anyway, and I just loved it. I was hooked. Then I heard the message, and it just snowballed from there. Then I started getting into like the culture massively. The dancing, the hairstyles, the fashion. As I went along, let's not forget the movies, like everything, like Beat Street and breakdance, and like it just sort of continued from there. So it wasn't what I fell in love with when I heard; it was an evolution of how I fell in love with it. It's like a relationship. You fall in love, and I fell in love from all those elements: the graffiti, the DJing, everything, all the aspects of it. Um, and that's where it stems from, listening to Rapper's Delight on the radio, and then it just evolved from there. So tell me your story. When did you fall in love with hip hop? What era? What was you doing? Um, and what elements of hip hop really got you and like kept you hooked? That's really what I want to know, guys. So let me know. Tell me in some comments down below. I'm interested. Anyway, have a great day, whether you doing worldwide, whatever time zone you're in. Hope you're having a good one. Peace.